Yes, we're back on this stupid map. Rockstar, this is what you're doing to the GTA 6 community. You have us in a civil war. Half the community thinks that these pictures, these blobs, are a map of the game, and the other half think we're insane and think this is just some post-it notes or some menus or something. It's simple, Rockstar. To fix this, just release the map. Just show us the map. I mean, you guys know what it looks like. Help us out, because we're going crazy. Now, we're here in Photoshop because I want to go over a couple of extra things regarding this potential map. I am on the side that thinks this is a map. I will explain in more detail why, but I will also give an explanation that yes, this is a map, but it's not the GTA 6 map, because I think that also could be what's in play here. But of course, we're looking here at the official GTA 6 artwork. Now, if you haven't checked out the video I did 2 days ago, I'll leave a link at the top right. Check on that. Watch that video first, because I go over a lot more detail on why we're looking at this, why this isn't the first time that Rockstar's actually released or teased a map for one of their games in like an artwork or a trailer. And we also just went over how it's just such a small thing. In this artwork here, the part we're taking a look at here is all the way in the bottom right. It is so far tucked away. It is such a small little thing. And yet this small little thing, like I mentioned, has put the GTA 6 community in a civil war. Now we'll zoom back in here and I will address two of the theories as to what this is. Number one, it is a menu. So if we just zoom out a little bit, this is kind of like on the Ocean Boulevard. You know, this looks to be like some sort of a hotel maybe, but like maybe there's a little like, you know, restaurant type thing here. And people are suggesting that this square we're looking at, that's just like a menu or for the restaurant. But number one, what kind of menus are you guys looking at? Like, look, I'm not saying 100% this is the map for GTA 6 or whatever, but like, this ain't a freaking menu. What kind of menu has different just shapes on it? The other leading theory is that this is just a board with like post-it notes or something, or like with flyers. And the only one that kind of looks like a flyer is this one in the middle, this square looking shape. Like, yeah, okay, that looks like a piece of paper, sure. What's your explanation for all these other ones? Are these just like cut out papers? Like, who does it? Who has a piece of paper cut out like this with a line in the middle? Another line over here. It just doesn't make sense that it's post-it notes either. Now, if we zoom back out here, this scene, it is a little interesting because they have this part underneath this supposed map. It looks to be some sort of shelf with like some stuff on it. Also over here on the table, we have like a drink. And if we zoom out even further and we just scroll through this picture, like that's really the only semi-detailed part of this picture. If that was a menu, then shouldn't this like blackboard looking thing, shouldn't this also have like shapes on it? Shouldn't this also have some sort of like text scribbles on it? And honestly, out of these two locations, like the menu would probably be on this like blackboard thing, not on the wall way back behind the tables. Like that doesn't even make sense for a place for a menu. But even if we go further to the left, there's just not many other little details in any of these other, you know, buildings and stuff apart from this one area. Now, zooming in way further, and we're gonna do some Photoshop magic to make this stuff stand out and pop a little bit more. This is what it looks like, just cut out of that image. This is not AI enhanced. This is not upscaled in any way. So there's no artifacts that are being added to this by anything. We're just gonna throw on some filters here, and then you're actually gonna be able to see the shapes a lot better now. Now, even when we do this, if you're thinking of a conventional, normal GTA map, this does not look like that. Like, obviously, the one we're referencing more than likely is GTA 5. GTA 5 was just a big island. This looks nothing like that. Also, here's the map we've been looking at a lot from the mapping project from a bunch of people in the GTA community, but I will just point out that this map isn't entirely accurate. All of these orange lines you see are speculation. Even this lake is speculation. The entire outline of this map is speculation. So we've been looking at this a lot, but this isn't necessarily what the map is going to look like. Matter of fact, this is actually all we know. This is mainly from trailer 1 and a couple of little points from the leaked videos last year, but this is all we know. We know the majority of the little island over here where the Vice Beach and I think it's Washington Beach and all that is. We also know a little bit of the Venetian Islands. a little bit of Vice City, and then a little bit of Port Gellhorn. This is all we know. You can see there's no outline. There's really nothing else to sort of cloud your judgment as to what the map should be based on and look like. So going back to the artwork shot, who's to say that this isn't what the map's going to look like? This might be Rockstar's version of Leonida. Instead of making it just one big island like Los Santos, what if they actually go back to what they did in GTA 4, in GTA San Andreas, where it's an archipelago instead of a giant island or a peninsula? Here was a picture that someone threw together that kind of like, it checks out if they are going back to that older style. Instead of having one big island, it might be multiple different islands. And then also, as far as the shape, I mean, if we look at the San Andreas map, I mean, yeah, it's a square. Now, of course, like San Andreas came out 20 years ago, whatever it was, but who's to say that maybe they go kind of back to that? And coming back to the map here, one of the leaks, one of the rumors is that over time, Rockstar are going to continually add cities, add different places to the GTA 6 map. So they don't crunch the developers like in development now. They'll just continually add to it over time. If they did have just a continuous island like this, how would they really add stuff? Also, what would be the explanation if you were flying up this way? There's no mountains like in RDR2, and even in RDR2, you just had a horse. You didn't have a jet plane that could fly everywhere. So what would be the explanation if you were flying this way? You went past the border. Would the jet just explode? Would it kind of do like it does in GTA 5 and just turn around? How far would you be able to go? That means Rockstar would have to make mountains or some sort of land going further north. What would be the explanation there? Instead, though, if they had a map like this with the islands, it's very easy to, number one, add on to this. Just have a bridge to another island. It's also a lot easier to deal with people going beyond the borders because they can just do like they did in GTA 5. They don't have to make a whole new land that goes on for miles. They just have ocean. The ocean just extends. And then eventually either your plane dies, I don't know, the cops come after you, the cartel comes after you. So I don't know, they could just come up with some crazy stuff that makes it so where you don't go that far past the border. From a game development point, this sort of map with different islands, I actually think works better. And if you cannot picture a GTA map from what we're looking at here, because I will admit, look, it's not like the best thing. It's only a handful of pixels we're looking at. Reddit user directed by PT Anderson actually came up with a very basic, very bare bones recreation of that piece of artwork in a GTA style of a map. You know, maybe one of these days, one of the more talented artists can come up with some better version of it, but this gives you an idea of maybe how the map would look. Over here on the right, that's of course the giant island. You have the beach. Then you also have maybe this green part, which maybe would be more of like a nature area. Then sort of in this area, you would have the Miami, the Vice City area. This giant, you know, rectangular-ish looking square part would just be other little smaller towns, you know, little towns and stuff scattered about. Then over here on the left-hand side, that's Tampa, the Port Gellhorn area. It is rumored that there's going to be 3 major cities in the game. So that would include Orlando up here. That would be the North City. The green parts up in the top part, that's just more wildlife areas, more wilderness stuff, maybe more mountainous areas up here, because of course we're going further north. That big blob at the bottom, of course, would be the Everglades, giant wilderness area, giant area with nature. And he did add the Key West part down here. Now that, if we go ahead and take this off and look back, there is no, you know, Key West part at the bottom, like it just kind of ends. But if we actually look at the map side by side, like, okay, this maybe looks a little bit more realistic as far as a GTA 6 map, how it would look. So I think the people that are dismissing this as just being some random stuff put into this artwork, I think you're dismissing this a little bit too early. Like we've already mentioned, Rockstar are very specific when they do things. They don't do things randomly. So they did put this on this artwork for a purpose. And now after sort of seeing how it would look as a GTA 6 style of a map, it does make a little bit more sense to me that, yeah, maybe this actually is a tease of the map. And as far as a size comparison to GTA 5, because I know some people are going to see this and be like, oh, that looks tiny. You're forgetting of scale. So here is a somewhat comparative scale of the GTA 5 map compared to the speculative Florida style map. You can kind of see that just the island alone. Now, yeah, some of this is speculation, so we don't know how far it extends, but just this island is a good chunk of the GTA 5 map. So if we then compare that to the map we just looked at, it would maybe look something like this. You can see the yellow would be that beach part. It's about the similar size. And in this context, then this map, this hypothetical GTA 6 map, is about maybe 1.5 to 2 times, maybe not exactly 2, maybe a little bit under 2 times the size of the GTA 5 map. It would be a lot more water, and you also have to remember there's gonna be a lot more interiors and stuff, but it still is going to be bigger than the GTA 5 map. So all of this stuff put together is why I think that these shapes here on the left that Rockstar intentionally put in their artwork is or could be the map from GTA 6. But I did mention at the beginning of this video that this could be a map, but not of GTA 6. And that would be disappointing, number one. But a very long time ago, a couple years ago, it was leaked that the project code name for GTA 6 was called Project Americas. And Rockstar's initial plan was to not only have Vice City, but to also have parts of South America, like Colombia, maybe other parts of the Caribbean, like Cuba. So if that's the case, maybe this could be their original map of that version of the game, of the original Project Americas. Maybe the part down here, that could have been Colombia, you know, maybe one of these little islands could have been Cuba. And then you'd have Vice City on the main island right here, probably. And then you'd have some other little places. Like maybe that's what we're looking at. Instead of giving us the actual map, they just gave us sort of, you know, one of their first drafts of the map. And, you know, that's what we're looking at. And the final thing I'll say about this whole topic is that things don't need to be geographically accurate. I know that's one of the other complaints and pieces of logic that people are bringing up. Like, oh, well, this map doesn't look like Florida. It doesn't resemble Florida at all. Does a giant island resemble California or LA? No. I think a lot of people have that preconceived notion that this has to be just like GTA 5. It has to be one singular island. It also has to maybe look like Florida and be some sort of peninsula, maybe as well. But it doesn't have to be any of that. This could just very well be Rockstar's depiction of Florida. So that's where we're going to leave it. The unfortunate part about all of this is we're really not going to know if we're right or wrong, more than likely until 6, 8, 10 months from now, probably, unless the map gets leaked early. But what side of the fence are you on after these 2 videos I've put up? Do you think it's a map? Do you think it's the GTA 6 map? Or do you still think it's a menu or some post-it notes? This is the power of Rockstar, man. A couple of little smudges on a freaking piece of artwork has got us occupied for days, wondering, what does it mean? Thank you guys for watching. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy and found it helpful. Subscribe for more GTA 6 content. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.